what this has meant to them, what it's meant to them personally, what it's meant to their students, their schools, and to give a little shot in the arm to the candidates who are out in the audience, because I know you're getting a little itchy thinking, I gotta go home and work on my portfolio. And so two straws, and we chose both ends of the spectrum, early childhood special ed and high school content area teacher, and I'm hoping that they speak to you this evening. So let me first introduce Samantha Randall, 2013 National Board Certified Teacher.
Good evening. I'm Samantha Randall, as Lynn said. I teach at South Shore Fine Arts Academy in an early childhood special education classroom, which consists of 3- and 4-year-olds with varying exceptionalities. And I am an NBCT. Last year was hectic for me. It was my 6th year teaching at Fermi Elementary School. And it began with the teacher's strike, as it did for all of us. And then seeing Fermi on the school closing list. Then attending countless community forums. And finally feeling the emotional turmoil that accompanies watching the only school I'd ever taught at close right before my eyes. They literally packed up my classroom while I still had students. And in case this wasn't enough stress, I was working on my national board portfolio the entire time. But honestly, it was working on my portfolio and going through the support program that got me through the year. It grounded me. It forced me to focus on my students above all else. It took my mind away from worrying about the contract, or school closing, or our pension woes. It kept me committed to the task at hand, and for that I'm grateful, because becoming a National Board Certified Teacher has completely changed the way I reflect on my practice and continually improve my teaching. I'm now much more focused on understanding how my students are learning instead of just what they are learning. In the past, when someone would ask me why I had Kenneth, a 3-year-old with autism, wear a weighted vest for certain activities, I would respond with, because it helps calm him down. And that was really the best answer I could give you. Now, with my commitment to understanding why my students learn and act the way they do, I am continually researching and collaborating with colleagues to seek out new information. Since going through all the professional development and living the NBPTS standards for over a year, I can now respond with, a weighted vest activates the receptors located in his core muscles that provide input to his proprioceptive system, which then impacts neurotransmitters in the brain, which will ultimately help Kenneth attend to the task. This has also led me to having a better understanding of the sensory processing issues and how to help my students overcome them. And if you've ever had a student with sensory processing deficits, you know how detrimental they are to their learning and the learning of everyone else in the classroom. As a direct result of my commitment to following the National Board's 5 core propositions, my students have made tremendous growth in this area and in many other areas. Although this growth can't be measured by any standardized test or district assessment, but that's a topic for a different time. Now this process was challenging. I mean, 20 drafts of a 15-page entry where you talk about one single student challenging, and that's just one section of the portfolio. The most I ever had to write about one single student before was an IEP, and that's mostly fill in the blank. Earning my master's degree in special education and autism wasn't even this difficult. But this process has opened my eyes to just how complex and unique each of my 3-year-olds are, and how important and beneficial it is to tailor my instructional decisions to some aspect of what I know about them, particularly their interests, strengths, talents, and needs. It's a much more purposeful way of teaching, and their growth tells me it's working. I met so many wonderful teachers through my National Board Support Program who are equally passionate about educating their students that it was worth the challenging work. I might not miss the countless hours of writing new drafts of my portfolio, but I do miss our in-depth discussions during Thursday night meetings and Saturday classes. Discussions that are only possible with a group of teachers committed to the profession like NBCTs can be. I love knowing that if I ever have a problem I can't solve, I have an entire community of fellow NBCTs to count on right here in CPS. In addition to positively impacting the achievement of my students, becoming a National Board Certified Teacher has already provided many new opportunities for me. I've had the honor of being asked to return to my support program this year as a mentor for new NBCT candidates, a role I love. I am continuing to learn so much by supporting other teachers through this process, and now that I see what it's like on the other side of the fence as a mentor, I probably need to offer my mentors a few apologies. I encourage everyone here to give back to their colleagues in their profession. Please talk to Lynn about being a mentor, a content coach, a candidate recruiter, a professional development provider, a portfolio reader, or seeking other roles with the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. Right now we are promoting our CPS NBCTs to score portfolios over the summer, as well as becoming item writers for the new assessment process. We are also looking for NBCTs to join me in scoring the portfolios of the EdTPA, Assessment for New Teachers. This is based on the NBPTS process and works with the university community to develop a seamless career continuum from beginning teacher through teacher leadership. I know each of us has our own individual list of people we would like to thank, but since time doesn't allow for that, I hope this is a good summary for all of us. Thank you to the husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, roommates, and neighbors who picked up all the slack with the dishes, laundry, childcare on the days we left the house at 7 a.m. and didn't return until after 9 at night because we were at class, professional development, or meeting with parents at school. Thank you to our colleagues for being flexible and supporting our need to videotape again and again and again. Thank you to our administrators for understanding our heavy workload and supporting us through this process in so many ways. Thank you to the parents of our students for helping us be the best teachers for their child. Thank you to our students for allowing us to use their classroom as our own, for being themselves, and for truly being the reason we started this process in the first place. Thank you to CPS and CTU for supporting the professional development and mentoring process and for keeping the stipend for National Board Certified Teachers in our contract. It's not a huge amount, but it goes a long way in showing us that you appreciate the work we do and going above and beyond for our students. And finally, thank you to Karen Lewis and Barbara Bird-Bennett for bringing labor and management together to create one solid program for supporting NBCT candidates, because we are all teachers and we do better when we work together on a common goal. It's great that the district recognizes the great work that the union is doing on behalf of students, and it's great that the union can see that the district isn't solely focused on the business of running schools economically. But speaking of economics, of all the educational reforms in the nation, the National Board Certification Program provides the biggest return on investment, and I hope the district continues to increase the amount of funding and resources so that every CPS teacher strives to achieve National Board Certification at some point in their career. To my fellow newly minted NBCTs, congratulations, we made it! If you haven't gotten a nameplate for your desk or classroom door announcing your status, I highly recommend it as it gets you attention from all the suits who walk by your door. But more importantly, our first NBCT stipend will be in our March 7th check. I will leave you today with some advice for the current candidates in the audience. April is closer than you think. Get as many small tasks done as you can now, because you really are going to run out of time. Thank you.
A little something. To inform the rest of the season. Thank you, Samantha. You represented your class very well. And Les Clewa, High School Social Studies, NBCT. I'll tell you a little bit about his journey and speak on